Okay, I wasn't expecting to have any space left on my freaking phone, but I do, a little bit. I've been wanting to video blog for a few days, just never have any time. So, it's over. It's over. And it's over for good. No. I'm serious. This is different. It's different, and I'll tell you why. Because that last video that I made wasn't the end of all the shenanigans that happened. For the next 3 days, there was just stuff that was just unacceptable. Everything that I wrote or said in the last video happened on a Wednesday. On Thursday, I stayed home again because I knew that he was going to bolt. And he was going to do it again. I could see it in his eyes. And I was already dressed to go to work. And I was like, this man is going to take off on me. And there's so much that needs to be said. So much that I need to say. And I need to get paid. And long story of that Wednesday, turns out that the man got paid. His ex-wife finally gave him his share of the condo that they owned together, and he bolted on us. He didn't go ahead and get a job. He didn't seek couples counseling for us like he was going to do. He didn't. Nothing. The man was waiting to get paid so he could dart. Just go. And so I was gonna get paid. I asked him, right before I left, I said, do you have enough to pay me? And he thought about it for a second. He's like, yeah. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna get in trouble at work for skipping on yet another day, but I'm gonna get paid today. And so before all of that, I told him, get in the car, we're gonna go take baby to daycare, and we did. And we went, got coffee, came over here to the beach. And I said everything. I poured it all out. Everything that was in my mind, in my heart, in my thoughts, everything that hurt from before, that I never got to say, everything that I observed. I told him some stuff that he didn't even realize that I knew. And as I sat there, hearing the few words that he spoke, mostly he was just looking down at the floor. He said that he was embarrassed about his behavior. He was ashamed of the things that he was doing. He's not. He wasn't. He's a sociopath. And what I actually caught on my phone, this phone, I caught him leaving a message. He essentially butt dialed me. And he left a message. Prior to that, he had called me. And I guess then he butt dialed me. And the difference in his tone, the words that he's speaking, the way that he's addressing me is like Jekyll and Hyde. And I hadn't heard it at that point on Thursday yet. But as I'm sitting there, I heard it today, actually. Today the 6th. Today's the 6th. But as I'm sitting there listening to him, after everything that I had to say, I had tears in my eyes because I knew. But this is the moment. When he replied, when he shared his thoughts at that moment, it clicked. It finally clicked for me. This man is sick. This man is a sociopath. And maybe I should pat myself on the back that I made a sociopath like him feel to the extent that he had felt for me. Because at one point he was saying, when he was in Montana, he was saying that he was in love with me. And, but it's like I told him when he was still in Montana, you're in love with the idea of me, but we both know how difficult this is going to be. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be an uphill climb. You're in love with the idea of me, the reality of me, and everything that comes along with that is going to be too much for you, because this is going to require somebody that's present, somebody that's stable, somebody that is determined and really wants to build a relationship, really wants to build a family with me. Because of the things that have happened between us that have been so awful, it requires somebody that's going to be committed to the ugliness that is healing sometimes, and everything that's going to surface between us, the mistrust and the resentments, and you know, it's gonna surface, because it needs to be talked about. The uncomfortable situations that happened, those will need to be brought up and need to be talked about. And I said, until the day we both can just mention those things and they no longer affect us, it's not going to be pretty. And all of it needs to be brought up with a therapist. And I said, so you like the idea of me? And I said, I don't blame you. I said, because had we not had these intense situations happen to us, these horrible things, traumatic things happen to us, aka me, we would have been a cool couple. We would have been a cool couple. Had he not had this sociopathic, sex addictive, compulsive liar tendencies, had he just been like a regular dude, we would have been a cool couple. Because in those moments, and I've always said that, in those moments where we were just kind of allowed to just be ourselves and not think about the world, the moments that we had like in Portland and stuff when we were having fun, it was fun. It was fun. It was chill, and he's patient and attentive in some ways, and I could see myself just chilling with him. We like to smoke weed and drink wine at the end of the day and watch some of our favorite shows and just laugh and enjoy the day cuddled under blankets. What could be better than that? We liked video games together. We liked playing board games and cards and stuff. And I'm like, what? Jenga? You know, figuring out what we wanted to eat and just chill. And we were chill. When we were chill, we were chill. And it was something, you know, when he and I connected, it was nice. In that moment, when he was sitting in the car here with me and we were here by the beach, the words that came out of his mouth made me realize that we were over. I realized that this man is too far broken, too far gone to ever really, really assess the situation and just kind of dig deep and realize, man, I really, really, really hurt this person. And the things that I have done are pretty dark and morbid. So, maybe not on those words exactly, but the feeling of not doing right by the person that has poured their time, their effort, their love, their child, of, you know, call them your little family. You call them your little family. Yet you just couldn't do right by them. And I knew that it was time for me to let him go. I knew that there was no way that I could ever get to him. And so I did. I let him go. And then what was left was figuring out how we were going to say goodbye, you know, just like pick up your things and go, okay. I said all that I had to say. But then when we left the beach and went and he paid me and we went home, he told me, you guys don't deserve this. I'm going to do right by you and your son, you know, and tomorrow I'm going to call couples counseling. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to do it right. And I wasn't certain that that's what I wanted anymore. And I just didn't know. I didn't think he was going to follow through on it, but I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. That day he slept so close to me, like, he pushed me off the bed twice. Like, I was like hanging off the edge, and I had to tell him, like, hey, can you scoot over? I never had to say that before. And he wanted me to spoon him, and I did once, and I just didn't feel right to do that. And so I just never touched him again. But I could tell he wanted me to spoon him, and I didn't. I wouldn't. I hardly slept that night. He seemed to be awake. He said he could feel me. And it was a Friday. And he asked me if I wanted him to take me to work and baby to daycare. And I looked at him and I'm like, no way. He had asked on Thursday too, and I'm like, are you kidding me? After leaving me stranded on Wednesday, you think, and thinking that you might have put my child in jeopardy, you think that I would ever be okay with you being alone with my son in my car? And so, nope, I took my son and we left. And I did all my routines by myself, like I was by myself at that moment and on Friday. Because I realized I had to start doing that stuff again. All of it. And I walked out the door, left him in there, took off, took baby to daycare, took myself to work. Takes maybe 10 minutes, maybe not even that. By the time I got to work, turned on one of my cameras at my house, he already had his stuff packed in the car. There was no appointments, there was no job getting, there was no counseling, nothing. The man was taken off. He had decided in his mind that that's what he was going to do as well. Called him up one last time and I was angry. Because I asked him, are you gonna leave? And he said, oh, he lowered his head down. And I'm like, yeah, I know he's gonna leave. He's being a coward, not telling me. And I said to him, you know what? Go. Leave if we are an option for you, then, and you don't love us anymore, then go. I said, we are nobody's option. Just go, if that's what it is. And I left, and so that's what it was. He left. Big weight off my shoulders, I'll tell you. I'm much happier without him. I'm just feeling, I miss him in certain spots and certain times, because my problem is that I allowed him to come back and come back. Because when I truly care about somebody, like truly care about you, I see you as family. And that was my problem with him. That's something that bonded us. We have a little chemistry, a little bit there. There's a little something there when we look into each other's eyes. But because I saw him like family, I couldn't conceive the thought of losing my family. So that was difficult for me, round 1 and 2. But round 3, I realized that I was never going to be able to get to him. And it was over. So, he's gone. I'm happy. I'm moving on. And there's things in the works. Life is moving forward. Stay tuned. Or don't. Whatever.